Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. So you've decided to hire a credit repair company to help you fix your credit. Well, unfortunately, 99% of the companies that do credit repair, fraud. They're either fraud in their methods or they're fraud in their intentions. You got to be careful with dealing with a credit repair company, so stay tuned. We're going to teach you some of the rules and laws that credit repair companies have to follow when dealing with you, the consumer. So stay tuned and come on right back for today's Delta Credit Tip. Hello and welcome back to today's Delta Credit Tip. So you've decided to hire a credit repair company to help you fix your credit? Well, unfortunately, you've got to be careful when you're dealing with credit repair companies. As a matter of fact, our philosophy is that 99% of most credit repair companies are fraud. They're fraud either in their methods or they're fraud in their intent. Okay? So much so that there are laws that are written specifically to help you, the consumer, when dealing with credit repair companies. So we're going to go over some of these rules and laws and regulations, both at the federal level and at the state level, and tips and signs that you may want to look at before you hire that credit repair company. So let's talk about credit repair companies and how they're defined. So the actual legal term to describe a credit repair company is actually a credit repair organization. That is the federal term for that. And as such, there are laws called the Credit Repair Organizations Act that dictate how companies like ours, Delta Credit Restoration, can behave. These laws have been put in place because it is so rampant with fraud. So we're going to go through some of these laws. So the first thing that you have to understand if you're shopping for a credit repair company is that it is illegal for any credit repair company to charge you anything up front. Okay? There's no sign-up fee, there's no workup fee, there's no opportunity fee that they're supposed to be charging you. The laws specifically state that services have to be rendered for them to charge you. As a matter of fact, you, the consumer, you actually have what they call a right of rescission where you can get a full refund, no questions asked, and at the federal level, it's 3 days. And at the state level, it can actually be more. In the state of Florida, where Delta Credit Restoration is based, it's actually 5 days. Now, there are plenty of loopholes out there that credit repair companies use to get around that 5-day right of rescission and that idea that they have rendered services. So if they say, hey, taking your name and social and all that and putting it in their system and talking to you on the phone is services rendered, well, that just to me leads to the character of the company. At Delta Credit Restoration, what we're going to do is, knowing that the state requirement is 5 days, we go, okay, if the requirement is 5 days, we're going to actually go 5 business days before we charge our client any money. Okay? That gives you, the consumer, the opportunity to go over the disclosures, to do your research on the company. It just needs to be done because this industry is so rampant with fraud. Okay? So if they charge you something up front, go about your business and find somebody else. Other rules that you may want to recognize is that it's illegal for a credit repair company to guarantee points. They cannot say, okay, when I get this thing deleted off your credit report, that's 10 points, 15 points, 20 points. There's no way for them to understand or comprehend or know up front how many points a trade line item is going to have when either deleted, paid, or whatever the case may be. Secondly, they cannot guarantee that you're going to reach a certain point value by a certain time. There's no guarantees to that because there's a lot of different factors, and the bureaus specifically do not let out their little recipe for credit scores because they don't want companies like credit repair companies manipulating the process. Also, thirdly, credit repair companies cannot guarantee deletions, especially when it comes to accurate information. You may have filed bankruptcy. You may not want that on your credit report, but unless there's a legitimate reason as to why it should come off, which, by the way, Delta does have legitimate reasons, it stays on the credit report, right? But they can't guarantee that they're going to get accurate information off of your credit report. Also, credit repair companies have a lot of disclosures that they're supposed to give you before your right of rescission ends. What are those things that they're supposed to disclose? How much they cost, how long it will take, who their affiliates are, their refund policy, and their money-back guarantee policy. All these things need to be disclosed before you pay a dime to that credit repair company. So why are these things so important? Well, obviously, cost is a big factor. Many credit repair companies, their fees just seem to pile on. They'll say, okay, you want disputes gone, or you want late pays gone? That's one fee. Okay, you want us to delete charge-offs? That's another fee. You want us to look at your student loans? That's another fee. You want us to look at this, look at that? More and more and more fees, but they don't disclose it up front. Okay? They want to protect you, the consumer, and your wallet. Also, on how long it will take. Some credit repair companies might only charge you a small monthly fee, but will take 2 years to fix your credit. So knowing the average time that they need to fix your credit is important because it will dictate how much money, again, you're going to pay for those services. Now, affiliates. That's super important. If a debt collector is an affiliate of a credit repair company, there's an obvious conflict of interest there. So you need to know who the affiliates are, who the DBAs are, parent companies, and all that when you're dealing with your credit repair company. Also, the refunds. Every credit repair company should have some sort of refund policy, but they need to disclose it up front. And of course, the guarantees. You want to know these things up front, so if they don't meet your expectations, you'll know what's in their terms and agreements and whatnot up front. Couple of other red flags that you want to look at when dealing with a credit repair company. Don't believe the hype. If you've got a hypist and they're saying, never pay a debt collector, everything can get deleted, you should know what your rights are and nobody can do anything with your credit, they're absolutely wrong. Okay? Debt collectors have rights, creditors have rights. There are both state level laws that protect them as well as federal laws and give them the right to do what they do. But they do have a series of rules they have to follow, just like the credit repair companies. And if they don't follow it, of course, they're out. But they do have rights and they can sue you for debts. So if you've got a credit repair specialist that's giving you information that just seems too good to be true or makes them look a lot stronger than what they really are, you may want to use caution on that as well. Also, you don't need to hire the United Nations to fix your credit. Use someone local. You want to be able to knock on the wall and say, hey, what's going on with my file? I don't want to call Dubai. I don't want to call India. I want to call Mike Holmes down the street and say, hey, what's going on with my file? All right. There are good national companies that do credit repair. Okay. But my first choice, I like to see eyeball to eyeball who I'm working with. It's a personal preference of mine, but I definitely don't want to be calling overseas to get my services. Not to mention, I don't want my Social Security, my credit, and all that being passed around. Also, another personal preference of mine, I choose not to work with MLMs. MLMs are great companies, okay? There's all kinds of great products that you can buy in an MLM structure and make a lot of money doing it. But credit repair shouldn't be one of them. Why? Because there's a lot of turnover in MLMs, there's a lot of lack of training in MLMs, and there's a conflict in goals in an MLM. The main goal of an MLM is a downline, right? Much more emphasis is placed on building your pipeline of potential people than actually servicing them. Not to mention the person that you hired to fix your credit and they're part of an MLM, chances are they're actually not the one fixing your credit. Some back office somewhere else is. So you got to be real careful when dealing with MLMs, only because they don't usually have the infrastructure to properly train their people. And like I always say with credit repair, it's not rocket science. It really isn't, but it's not basic math either. So you got to be, again, very careful and understand the expertise level of the person that you're dealing with. Also, we live in the internet age. If you're gonna hire a credit repair company, research it. Read their reviews. The community will tell you whether or not it's a good company to work with. Trust what you read most of the time, and look at more than one resource. Look on places like Yelp, Google, Facebook, especially Facebook, because that's a really close community. Okay? Just be leery of their friends, because their friends could put a lot of good responses and good reviews, so you got to look deeper than that. So, I hope this information helps. If it does, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe below. Every Thursday at noon, we try to bring you more information to try to educate you as a consumer on how you can make it through your credit repair process. But most importantly, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to share the information. Share it, share it, share it. This is how we empower each other. This is how we stay informed. But most importantly, this is how you make a choice to make a change. Delta.